here we are back again, and today it's a circuit. We are going to do 3 exercises 3 times through. You know the drill. We're going to go 50 seconds on, 10 seconds off. You're going to need a step stool if you have one, and other props you could work with today if you have them at home are your ring. It's not for anything fancy, so you don't really need to have it at all. And another thing you could pull out is your yoga block. So if you have one of these at home, awesome. These are available in town, I believe, at Shanty Yoga and probably at Wildwoods as well. And for those of you who don't have a ring and want to have one at home to work with through some of our exercises and some of our videos, you can get these at the Kootenai Pilates Center, or let me know and they can be ordered. So just before we get started, I'm going to do just a tad of promotion for a good friend of mine, an artist who I love dearly. I love her work. It's awesome. And this Friday coming, for those of you who watched this before Friday, it's Blue Night Festival. So there's a number of artists being displayed all along Baker Street from 7 to 9 p.m. and there's usually refreshments at each of the locations. And so I'm just going to put this up here. You are invited to the art show with Miss Julie Breton. She'll be showing her art at Enzo's. So I'd love for you to come and check it out. There you go. So she'll be at Enzo's from 7 to 9. She's got awesome artwork. I hope you can come. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to back myself up and just press a button. Here we go. So I've got our trusty timer. We're going to start with our just a little bit of a warm-up first, and then we'll get going into our circuit. Okay, so you're going to just clear your mat off. We're just going to warm up the hips just a little. So coming onto your mat, onto all fours. And here we're going to just do some hip shifts. So we're going to bring our feet over to one side, and we're going to sit our hips back onto our heels and reach the hands to that same side. Then you're coming through center, feet over to the other side, and sitting back into the hip. So you're going side to side. You're really thinking about sitting in towards the back of the hip socket. And you also want to be really thinking of this as a hip loosening exercise. So being gentle with the knees. You don't want to feel any stress or strain there. So we're going to just move side to side for another 5. Exhaling 4. 3, 2, really thinking about stretching into the back of the hip socket, and last 1. Let's go on to hands and knees, and here we're going to work on that principle of getting movement down at the base of your tailbone, or the base of the spine, I should say. So you can take your hand to the lower part of your spine, and here, keeping your ribs nice and quiet, I just want you to do a couple of pelvic tilts where you're really just focusing on moving at the very bottom of the spine. It's a very small motion. I know it may be hard to see here on camera, but what I'm doing is just thinking about lengthening through the whole of my spine and lifting my tailbone towards the ceiling as I almost envision my sitting bones widening. So we're going to do just another 5. Exhale and 4. Exhale 3. This can be done, of course, on your elbows if you need to take any pressure off the wrists. And last 1. And then we're going to come forward into a quadricep stretch. So we're sitting back on our feet here gently. If you have toe issues, try not to sit back on your feet. You can just do a little tuck under and sitting back to stretch the bottom, or the front, I should say, of your shin. Otherwise, we're sitting here, and we're going to go ahead and grab our block if you have one available. A pillow, a rolled up towel, all of that works just fine. You're going to take it under one knee as you step forward. So here we're thinking about our hips being level right to left. So we don't want to be kicked over to one side or kicked over to the other. Nice and square. And if it doesn't feel like you can get square, here what you want to do is take your knee up higher to give yourself more maneuverability in your hips. So here we're at about 90 degrees, and we're going to think of taking that pubic bone and drawing it towards the nose. Once you have that, you might have a little bit of a stretch already in the quadricep. And if not, then some of you may choose to keep that connection of pubic bone to nose as you gently come forward into a little bit of a quadricep stretch. And you can add the hand overhead as well. You can even add your second hand. And if you'd like to, thinking about moving from your sternum, you can gaze gently towards the ceiling. We'll take 2 breaths in here. Inhale. Exhale. And actually we'll circle the shoulders around. Let's do for another 3. So inhale up and circle down. 2 and down. And last one and down. We're going to go ahead and move this over to the other side. So here again, thinking about squaring the hips. And if you feel like that's not possible, again, go ahead and lift that up so that you have more ability to stay square. In this position here, let's bring the hands up and overhead, or just one is fine. So inhale here, exhale around, and inhale, exhale. Inhale, pubic bone to nose, exhale and around. Last 3, and 2, and last one. Good. Hopefully we're feeling open through the front and flexibility through the hip. So we can go ahead, get started with our circuit. So you're going to take your bench onto the mat. And sorry, I'm cutting myself off. Here we're going to take our back foot onto here, facing forward. So I'm going to get the timer ready. So our first move to show you will be lunges. So again, we want to start square hips, find your hinge, lift your back leg onto your bench. I'm going to take this foam roller right out in front. It's only here to show me not to bring my knee forward. You don't need to have it to do the exercise. So showing the movement here, we're taking our long spine and we're dropping it straight down. And the goal is that my knee won't touch the roller, which is really requiring me to sit into my front hip, hinging. Okay, so that's move number 1. It's going to be followed with a plank, and then we're going to go into either a low push-up or a high push-up. Okay, let's go ahead and get started, and I'll get better at remembering not to cut myself off from the top of the camera. Okay, are we ready, guys? Here we go. Getting ready for our circuit. Move number 1. So we're going to hinge, step, connect, and ding. So sitting back. So we want to think toes are spread. We're sitting into our front sitting bone. We're maintaining length through the spine. Our core is always active. We're inhaling to go down, exhaling to come up. We're at 25 seconds, so you're halfway. So just watching that knee doesn't start to creep forward as we get tired. If you find, keep going, and that's too much for you to have that elevation, you can just go to a regular lunge if you feel like you don't have the flexibility in your back leg. If you want, you can add weights to your hands as well. You've got 2 seconds, and ding. We'll set ourselves up for our next exercise. I'm going to use this just as a demo, and we're going to go into our push-up here. So we've already gone into our ding. In this position, remembering that you have a little bit of that flare. Now, I realize most of you probably don't have a ring at home, and obviously the ring is just there to show you how it helps maintain length through the spine. But once you get the feeling, or if you can envision that ring being under there to like support you in a nice buoyant way, you just bring yourself back to the mat and picture that ring underneath you, start to finish. We're trying to stay out of our neck and shoulders, so maintaining length through the neck and the head. Oh, there we go. We've already done. So we're going to get ready for our last move onto our plank. Grab your block, place it underneath the hips, and we're going into plank. You're either going to do a slow hold here, or we're going to add a point, a flex, and a down. A point, a flex, and down. You can use a quick breath and switch, and switch. If you feel that you have adequate strength to do so, you don't need to work with the block. You take the block away, which I'll do in round 2. So it's using the block allows you to focus on things like chin to the back of your throat, length through your spine, active through the core. Awesome, we done. We're going to take that away and back to our circuit. So I'll show you a modified version. This time I'm going to use just a block. Here we go, switching legs, other foot forward. I think I'll give us 15 seconds next time. So that idea of sitting into that front glute and front sitting bone, yes. Hands are at the side, spine is long and tall. Pubic bone gently towards your nose if you tend to arch your back. Pay attention to what your ribs are doing. Are you starting to pop? Softly draw them in. Sorry, we'll inhale down, exhale up. You can think about engaging through the gluteal system as you rise. I don't want you to over squeeze them, but you can think engage. There we go, back to our push-up. I'm going to show you version number 2 at the table. So it's going to be a little longer and taller. Whoop. There we go. So this time instead we're going to go into a high push-up, long body, core active. So at home, if you've got stairs, you can do it on your 4th or 5th step. So this is another version of a push-up that doesn't require you to load your entire body weight onto your arms. Exhale to come out. Inhale to come in. You can do smaller range if you're just focusing on your mechanics. And I like to kind of gaze between my 2 hands as I do that. Here we go. We're back to the floor for our plank. So we're going into a whole plank this time. No block. Start with your hips high. Whoops. Good. And as you gain strength, we can lower. So we're going to go 1, 2, and switch. 1, 2, and switch. 1, and switch. And switch. And switch. And switch. And switch. So thinking still length, connecting with your core. You're getting tired, this is where we want to push through to keep going, or just lift your hips, take a break. Take a long breath and come on back in. There we go. We're going to go back to our last set, back to our lunges. I'm going to alternate this time. Here we go. So we're stepping back and switch. Still thinking about all those same principles. Good, long through the body, long through the crown of the head. It's a beautiful day out there today, and it's nice and toasty in here, so I'm getting nice and warm, so I hope at home, so are you too. I rode my bike in too, so it makes me a little bit warmer. Good. So thinking about sitting into that sitting bone. Ding, here we go, our last round of push-ups. I'm gonna go back to using the ring, but a longer line this time. So through to here, my feet can go up in the air, long, my torso tail is out, lower, and lift. Once I've got the feeling, I can take that ring away, or it can just fall away for me. Back into my long line, long neck, chin tucked. So really remember to breathe. You do it nice and loud on camera to encourage you to do it too. One more. And we're going to finish off with our plank. So I'll go back to the block. You can do it without. Good. Here I can really focus on my mechanics of my long body and point and flex and point and flex. So you hopefully can see as I'm doing this, as my knee bends, my back is not arching. So we don't want to be sagging as the leg comes forward. We want to maintain our length and really focus. If we do it that way, we can actually allow the quadricep tissue to stretch in the front body as we work our hamstring through the back. So it's point, flex, and really think about using the tone in the back of the leg to do the exercise. Quick exhale with each pulse. So, and there you go. You are done your circuit for today. So thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. Look forward to more circuits.